Hi, it's Sophia and welcome back to The Friendly Vet, where the premise of this channel is that you've got a friend that's a vet and you can just ask them any questions that you have about looking after your pet. Today we're going to be talking about whether or not you should breed from your female dog. This can be a controversial topic, and a lot of times it seems to be vet versus breeder. At least behind the scenes it does as well, and the reason being because a lot of people go into breeding and they're not prepared and they're not experienced, they haven't done any research, and it doesn't end up very well for the pets or the owner. So hopefully we can avoid that with these tips that I'm going to share with you today. So the first thing that you need to know before you breed your pet is that it's not something to be taken lightly. There's a lot of things that could go wrong. You could end up with a really big vet bill, you could end up with no dog at the end of it, you could end up with no puppies or kittens at the end of it, and you could end up spending a lot of time doing things that you didn't anticipate. And so you really need to make sure that you do your research first and make sure that you've got everything prepared that you could possibly need in the middle of the night, such as puppy or kitten formula milk, blankets, a heat lamp, a puppy pen, etc. Get that all ready first. And the second thing that you need to know before you breed your pet is to wait until they are old enough. I can't understand why so many people, especially during lockdown and everything like that, they just decided to randomly breed their dog or cats at a really, really young age. People breeding their animals before they're even 1 year old. If you think about it, that's like a teenage pregnancy, which you don't want to put that on your dog. She's not fully formed, she's not ready to give birth, and a lot of those dogs suffered a lot for that reason. So don't be that person. Make sure that your dog, especially if you're breeding with the female, once again, make sure that your dog's old enough. So you want to be 3 years plus before you think about breeding your dog. And number 3 is that you want to make sure that your dog is healthy and a good specimen that should be bred. Another reason to wait until they're at least 3 years old is that you can really check if they're showing any signs of any medical conditions by that time, any joint problems, any problems with eyesight, hearing, skin allergies, anything like that. You're thinking, should you really be breeding from that dog, because you're just passing on problems to future generations. So you want to breed from the healthiest possible of that breed, and you really want to wait and see if they're going to be a healthy dog before you do that. The other reason that you need to wait is just that the body will be fully formed adults. The female will be stronger to carry those puppies or kittens for that length of time. There are also schemes that you can do to make sure that you've got the healthiest dog possible, such as a hip and elbow scores with the British Veterinary Association. You can do a lot of blood tests these days as well, which can check for genetic diseases that your dog might have. So make sure to look what there is for your breed that you're breeding from, and to get those done definitely before you breed. The fourth thing that you need to consider before you breed your pet is whether there's actually a demand for these animals that you're breeding. A lot of people, again, don't consider this, and they just breed their animal and just assume that people will want to buy them, and sometimes that's not always the case. You need to figure out how much you're going to be charging for them and how strict you're going to be in terms of a home check, because at the end of the day it's your responsibility to make sure that these animals go to homes where they're going to be looked after properly and loved, and people that know what they're doing. If you end up with more puppies or kittens, etc., than you've got homes for, then you might end up rehoming them to people that ideally you wouldn't really want them to be with, but you just need to get them out of the house because you're not prepared to have 10 dogs running around the house. So you need to really consider, you could be in a situation where you've got too many animals, you can't find homes for them. What are you going to do in that situation if nobody wants to buy them? So it's up to you to really make sure that you've got some homes lined up, maybe even take deposits in advance for these puppies or kittens, etc., before you even breed them. And the final thing that I would recommend you know before you breed your pets is don't expect to make any money from it. A lot of people go into breeding thinking that, you know, it's just an easy way to make money. You don't really have to do anything, your pet's doing all the work. They'll pop out some puppies, kittens, etc., and you can sell them for £1,000 plus each. But it doesn't always work out that way, as a lot of breeders come to understand. You might end up with a really big vet bill, you might end up with only 1 or 2 puppies, kittens. They might not be healthy enough to rehome. They might have problems that require you to pay for them to have an operation, for example, shortly after they're born. You might have to take off work if your dog, for example, gives birth a week before she's due and you didn't have that week off. What are you going to do, because you need to be keeping an eye on her? Equally, if something happens, for example, the mother gets mastitis, another problem with the milk, or she just doesn't have any, then you might have to bottle feed those puppies or kittens, which is, you know, every 2 hours for a couple of weeks. So you're not going to be getting any sleep, so you need to think about that. A lot of people don't really realise this, and they end up being really disappointed and stressed then when they have to come to the vets and fork out all this money for emergency cesarean, etc. So rather than expecting to make money by breeding your pet, expect that you're actually putting money into it. You'll get a little bit of that back when you sell the puppies, the kittens, etc. But you shouldn't expect to be making a profit out of this. It's not really a good business opportunity. So those are the 5 things that I recommend you understand and research about before you breed from your pets. Hopefully if you follow those steps, the breeding process will be easier for you and your pets, and you can really make an informed decision about whether it's something that you actually want to do or not. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe to the page for more videos like this. And if you've got any suggestions or things that you'd want to know about, please let me know in the comments below.